I'm with a representative-elect of the state of Illinois, and we're going to ask her a few questions about why Illinois is so important for the United States.
Well, Illinois is in the heartland, so we have a really passionate membership of citizens in Illinois who are staying engaged. And as a Republican, we're working really hard to get out the vote. We find that Illinois really is a red state, even though we traditionally have a Democratic-controlled House and Senate and governorship. And so some pretty intense blue voting blocks that really determine our outcomes. But we're working really hard in the Republican Party to come together and get out the vote this November.
What brings you out here?
I'm excited to be joining the Illinois delegation here in Milwaukee for the 2024 Republican National Convention. Myself and 65 other of the delegates are here to represent our party, represent our state, and make America great again.
I'm with Adam here, and you're from Illinois. Tell us how it is being a Republican in Illinois.
Hi, so there's a lot of challenges that we have in Illinois. And because, Chicago's a large metro area, we have a large population base, but unfortunately we are a bit of an echo chamber because that tends to happen in any geopolitical region. And so to kind of overcome that, we have to make more efforts and strides to reach out to moderate and Democrat voters to join sort of the Republican Party. Now, it can be a bit challenging to do that because oftentimes people just dismiss you because they make pre-assumptions on you, but they don't understand that there's a wide range of Republicans in the United States. So, for example, I myself am a former Democrat. I voted for Obama twice, but I switched to Trump in 2016.
Tell us what you think of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump earlier this week.
I think it's going to bring this party closer together. I think what we're seeing with Donald Trump is a softer side. We're seeing a little bit, though, when he comes out into the crowd, into the audience at the convention, we're seeing just a more pensive. I've had a lot of friends text me and say he looks more pensive and softer, and maybe like the wind was taken out of his sails with this attempted assassination. Hearing his family talk about the assassination was really like gut-wrenching. It was gripping to hear them, and I can't even imagine.
It's really heartbreaking to watch that in real time on television. I think that Donald Trump has made himself available to run again for the good of the United States of America, and there's always a risk associated with that. Even as a statewide politician, we recognize that people sometimes get their ideologies ramped up, and so they feel like they can take matters into their own hands. And it was really terrifying to watch, but for him to just stand up and kind of give that fist bump and lion's roar, I think that it sent a message around the world that in America we stand up for what we believe in, and we'll never stand down.
It's absolutely a horrific event. We'll find out more details in the coming days about what were the motives. He was obviously motivated for his dislike of Trump. Anything more specific than that, it's hard to say at this very exact moment. But there's definitely that was a huge failure on behalf of the Secret Service, who did not properly secure the perimeter.
Do you think the left-wing media, the mainstream media more like it, and the left will stop with their crazy rhetoric about President Trump, seeing what happened in the last week?
I don't think anything can stop the crazy rhetoric on the left, but I hope that people start to realize how crazy it is, and they realize that Trump is here to do what's best for the American people. He is for the world, really, because there's more peace in the world when Trump is in office. There's always going to be crazy people, but we've got a lot of people that are realizing that crazy left rhetoric is propaganda. We've got a mainstream media that supports what the left is trying to push, an agenda that they're trying to push. So,
I think that it's become very obvious that, for the last 8 years since Donald Trump announced that he was running as a Republican, the left has come in many forms of attack for him. And he has stayed strong, but, the rhetoric is just allowing people to continue to think about that violence, to be able to continue the rhetoric that way as well. And so I certainly would hope and pray that they will tamp down and realize that their words have consequences. But we'll see. I wouldn't give them more than about a week before they're right back.
First they tried to assassinate his character. Then they tried to assassinate his business. Then they tried to put the man in jail. And when none of that worked, they tried to kill him. That tells you where the far left base is. They know that we're going to win in November, and they will do anything they can to try to stop this whole momentum, this whole concept of putting America first and having the agenda that will move America into the future.
As a former Democrat, I can tell you that the progressive branch of the party took over the party. We can see that in places like Chicago, where we had a mayoral race between Paul Vallis and Brandon Johnson, and the progressive candidate is the one who won the position. And unfortunately, the party is currently under their controlled sort of influence, and that rhetoric will not tone down until the moderates in the Democrat Party either A, leave the party and join the Republican Party, or B, they start pushing back on the progressive wing of the party and tell them to tone down the language. So unfortunately, at this moment, I don't see a path forward quite yet. Maybe in 10 years from now, possibly, but then again, the Republican Party can become the big tent party and pull those moderates in.
What are your thoughts about Joe Biden? Should he resign?
Right now, I kind of feel sorry for Sleepy Joe. I think the party has lost their support of him. He's lost their support. I also think that this was very calculated. I think they knew this would happen, and I think they have a wild card. So I'm a little bit interested to see what the Democrats are going to do with this next step. They've seen our convention. They know we're on fire, that Trump's going to be our next president, and now they got to figure out a way to get one of their liberals in. I don't think they're going to be able to do it.
I think he's proven he's definitely unfit to run. I, like those all across the United States, have seen with our own eyes his interviews, his inability to form complete sentences at times, his disorientation. It's really a shame that his family and those close to him haven't given him the impression that it's time for him to step down. He's served this country, and I think it's would be critical for the Democratic Party. However, as Republicans and supporters of Donald Trump and now Vice President nominee J.D. Vance, we know we're going to defeat whoever's on the other side because they have terrible policies that are destroying this country.
Okay, as a Trump guy, I want him to stay in because he's an easier target to run against. So it's in our favor, so to speak. But I think he's going to resign. So what I've seen on X, and thank you, Elon, for what you've done for free speech, is that he is planning to resign. We'll see in the coming days whether he actually does do that. Now, who is this going to be? Probably going to be Kamala for logistic reasons. 'Cause I heard the Obamas are pushing her really hard, and they've had some fundraising events with her already, with mega donors. But like I said, I hope, Joe, you stay in there because we need Trump in the office because you're a lot easier to run against.
If you like what you're seeing, you want to see more from the RNC convention here in Milwaukee, go to rebelnewsusa.com for the whole story.